Hope we're all doing really well this evening. See if we can get this party started. There you go. That's a little bit better. A little bit bright, but there you go. Hope we're all doing really well this evening. I'm just going to get my earphone in just because I can hear you a little bit better. Let's get in here. Here we go. Right. I might have to turn on a light because yeah, give me 1 second. And we're back. That's a little better. Hi Scott, I hope we're all doing really well this evening. Hope we're all having a great Friday night. This is the late Friday night show. Going to start trying to be consistent with this. 2-2, cover the pitch. Matthias de Ligt, Hayden, Heaven, Luke Shaw, cut out Haaland. Let's see. I don't think Xerxes is going to play Lucky. To be honest with you, we need any points in this game. Well, I think we need as many points as we possibly can, to be honest with you. Let's get on to the Amorim press conference. But before we do any of that stuff, happy Friday night. It is a Friday night. This is going to be a completely chill show. I've got my notes. You've got your Friday night. Go and get yourself a drink. Go and get yourself a cup of tea. Go and get yourself a beer. Go and get yourself whatever you need to do. And get into this amazing chat now. If you are new here, or what do we do here? I am not a dictator of the chat. I am here to merely facilitate, to be a conduit of the chat. Of course, I come up with some of the topics to talk about, but you know, I am pretty much led by you guys. Now, obviously, there is a theme, and if you do get into the chat, I'll always ask you to please be respectful to the other people in the chat. Be respectful to the other amazing people in this community. We've built such a great community over the last couple of weeks. This is an amazing community, and everything just happens because of you guys. So please feel free to get into the chat. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know how your days. What you've got planned for the weekend. Just get into this amazing community, and we can go from there. So it's been no daily show today. Had other commitments. Been filming other stuff today for my other channel. So I've been doing a lot of editing and different bits and pieces for that today. So what are we doing today? So first and foremost, football is back. Of course it is. We are loving life. Football is back, and you know, things are great in the world again. So where do we start off? So the press conference today was interesting. Now, I was wrong yesterday. I was going to start off the show and basically say that I'm wrong on the basis that Lemens is not going to start. Now, I would have liked to have Amorim showed a little bit of. I'd have liked him to be brave, to be honest with you. But I absolutely, completely understand why he's not going to put him in there. Many of you were right yesterday in your opinions on what you were saying, that you know Binder is going to start, you know, and I think that makes complete sense. So I completely understand that, and we'll go through Amorim's comments as well on the goalkeeper. Obviously, that was the main topic of conversation today. From this guy says, "What's good, JB? What's good, JB? The world is good. Friday night is always great, right? As I say, grab yourself a cup of tea, grab yourself a beer, grab yourself a glass of wine. It's one of them shows tonight. I just don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to go through the press conference. Let me know what you've heard throughout your day today. Just get into the chat. Let me know, as Scott says, what's good. Scott, a legend of the chat, and one of the mods. If you do get into this amazing chat, then obviously I do appreciate people being respectful. You know, what I will say on here is that I will read out your chat. That, of course, there are super chats on here now. There are memberships. One thing I will say is, in a couple of weeks, and I've got to give Scott credit for this one, is that we're going to look to do a FIFA members kind of games night. We'll look to do it. I don't know. I need to look at my schedule and that kind of stuff. And we'll look to do a sort of FIFA, try and do an 11v whatever it is. We'll try and get on that. FIFA Clubbies, or what it's called now, Football Club 26 is going to be out, and we'll look to do that. And I'm not going to take credit for that. Scott in the chat, that's his. And we'll look to do something on that. And then if it gets some good views, and maybe we'll look to do something like that. So we'll put it on the channel as well. But my only stipulation to that is that you've got to be a member. So get in there with the memberships, and you can be part of something that we're going to try and build. And I'm going to do more and more member stuff. I'm going to do a quiz as well. I might do a Friday night quiz on all this stuff as well. So get into the chat and let me know how we're doing. So let's get on to the Amorim conference. So I'm going to read this not word for word, but I'll go through some of the highlights and the takeaways from the pressers. So Amorim on the goalkeeper. So Amorim confirmed that Binder will start in goal against City rather than Senny Lamens. Now, I'll read the quote on that and then I'll tell you, do I agree with it? Yes, but I'll tell you what I would have liked to have seen on it. But I completely get the point. I completely understand why he's made the decision that he has. I think it's a very, very logical decision to make. But let's see how we go in it. So Amorim on the goalkeeper says, we have an option that can give us different things in the moment, but also he has a great potential to be our keeper for a lot of years. So that was our choice in the end. I wish the best to Andre Onana. He was really good on working, trying to help the players, but sometimes you have to have all the quality in the world, but you need to change the environment to return to your level. JB, off topic, can I say something that's weird? You go for it, Scott. You tell us about off topic, and I'm happy to bring it into the show. We'll get through the press conference, and then we can spitball this evening, as long as it's not too weird. I will keep talking just to move the show along, and then you can come out and say some stuff. So I think, what else could he say on the keeper situation? Really, I think Binder. This is going to sound a bit strange, but I think Binder has probably played himself into a little bit of form. He's a tall goalkeeper as well. I mean, obviously the guy cannot cross a road. Philip Rome says, hello, sir. Congratulations on Onana. Philip, legend as well, my friend. Welcome here as always. I think congratulations. It's the fact that we got congratulations on that, Philip, I think tells you everything that you need to know, right? So today, to go back to Philip, it's official that he's gone to Trabzonspor. Great for him. And again, to go back to Amorim, I wish the best for Andre Onana. He was really good on working, trying to help the players, but sometimes you can have all the quality in the world, but you need to change the environment to return to your level. Interesting one. I think, what can he say? I think he's probably done the right thing in not lamenting, and I think many of you have said this as well, is that what's the point in putting him into the firing line? I completely get that. For me, I would have liked to have seen Amorim be a bit brave. I think Lamens is a confident guy from the things I've heard and seen, so I really like Lamens. Scott says, if you have seen the CCTV footage of the getting off the roof and out of, but the FBI find in the woods over the road where it was really fishy, I believe. Yeah, I'll hold fire on that, and we can talk about that. There's certain things I'm not going to say, and I can't say, but we can let's spitball that and let's talk about that after. So let's just get through this conference, through the press, and then we can sort of spitball and start talking about that conspiracy theory. So I think Onana, I think Amorim has probably done the right thing. Again, Amorim is shown a side where I think I would call Amorim an assassin. I'd call him a silent assassin on the basis that he sort of makes you think one thing, and then, apparently there were some things said in the Athletic or MEN today about Amorim was surprised about, that he wasn't in the team and expecting to be in the team. There's absolutely no way that that's true at all. So I think on the goalkeeper situation, has Amorim got that right? Let me know in the chat what you think about that. Do you think that Amorim has got that call right? Other than the disappointment of Lamens not playing, I completely get it. I completely get that Lamens is not playing because he wants to protect him. I get that absolutely fine with me. So I think he's done the right thing. Now, Amorim on Lamens, he's described Lamens as someone with a lot of potential and said they need both experience and future the prospects in the goalkeeping. Now, what do I think about that? So I think he's right. I think Amorim wanted Martinez. I think that's absolutely, I think Amorim wants a ready to go keeper. I think the men's is a well, when you look at the structure now of this club, the structure is there's a football committee. And do I agree with that? Yes, I do. I think that there has to be now some carte blanche for some you can't just have like full control over it. So I think the Ten Hag full control was probably the wrong thing. That veto, I don't know what sort of veto that Amorim has, but I think it's correct to do this. Now they're basing it on stats. Now sometimes you can't base everything on stats because you need to. The eye test doesn't lie, and also sometimes you got to trust your gut. So I think the men's is a united footballing decision in terms of a complete footballing structure, but I think Amorim definitely wants a proper goalkeeper in terms of somebody that's ready to come in now. So I wouldn't be surprised if Lamens, I think, needs to play himself into form and show some good stuff. I think, as I've said before, on the goalkeeper is what you got to think about this is right, and I've thought about this as well. After I said Lamens would start, maybe that was me just being excited, but I think what I've got to take on board, and I think what people have to take on board as well, is basically imagine you're a back four. It takes time for you to get accustomed to a new keeper. It takes time for you to build that rapport with your centre backs, with the team. So this team with Bienda, they know in terms of a cross, he's not great. Probably the confidence is slightly better with Bienda and go rather than Onana. So it's going to take them time to start trusting a young keeper as well. So I completely get it. He needs to build a rapport up. And then after the show last night, the more that I thought about it, it makes sense because Bienda is something that they know. Lamens is something that they don't. So he needs to build that trust. So I think it's the right thing. I think for consistency in these next couple of games. So maybe we start to see Lamens maybe after the next international break. If he plays himself into form now, it's really scary. The fact that Bienda is better than Onana, or that's how he sees it. So, Onana leaving, I think, is great. Trabzonspor are going to pay the wages of him. So I think for now, I'm glad the goalkeeper debate has been settled. Bienda is obviously the guy and go. So it's up to Lamens to push him. So I think if Lamens pushes him and gets that spot, then it clearly means that Lamens is. I am cold tonight. I've got my fleecy thing on tonight. Absolutely freezing in here tonight. So I'm in my little studio thing, and it is cold. It is cold in here tonight. There's no heating, so I'm a little bit chilly. The weather's turned, it's starting to turn now. And I am getting older, the old bones, not the same, as you are when you're a young buck and you're warmer. Definitely, as you get older, you get colder easier. Honestly, it is just crazy. On the injury update, so I'll give you some build a bonfire, mate. If I build a bonfire, I'm in here. I'm always red hot. Well, Scott, I don't doubt that for a second, mate. I'm sure you're red hot. I'm sure your missus thinks that you're red hot as well, mate. I don't doubt that for a second. Don't doubt that for a second, my friend. Injury updates, and again, we're going to be talking about Mason Mount again. Get your opinions in on that as well. Injury updates. So Mason Mount, Matthias Cunha, and Delo. I love the cold. So do I. So do I. I love snow. Snow is one of my favourite things. I much prefer being cold than I do being hot. I think it's easier to get warmer. The only time I like to be warmer, and maybe I'm a little bit of a sadist on this point, is now when I go out for like a run, right? I love that feeling of being like absolutely baking, sweating, knowing that you've done like a workout. That's the only time I sort of like to be hot. I'm not going to go down a path yet. There are things that I'm trying to not say, because let's get through this and then we can start to move on to different stuff. Lucky Singh says, want players to cover spaces, have aerial power to get goals scored. Benjamin Sesko, Dorgu latch on to the penalty. Now, Lucky, I'm not sure that Sesko's going to start. And again, the more I start to think about this last night, I'm not entirely sure that Sesko is going to start. Now, I think he needs to start, but I don't know if Amorim's going to play a false 9 again. I don't know if... Is there going to be something to do with Fernandes, Ahmad around that position? Does Mainu come into the squad as well? So does Mainu come in for Bruno, and then does he move into one of the number 10s? Ahmad goes as a wing back. Hi, my supervisor, Combing Ing. Hi, my supervisor. Yeah, I'm not sure what to do with that, but hello, Sesko needs to start. Otherwise, what's the point? I mean, Scott. I've seen so many things about Sesko. Saying that he's a wet fish. Again, very much like Xerxes last season, whereby fans were turning on him already. Critics were turning on him already. What's the lad supposed to do? He's not played. Gyökeres for me now. Gyökeres, okay, he scored 2 goals, but Gyökeres hasn't set the world on fire just yet. And this is not, and again, get into the chat. This is just my opinion. You guys may have different opinions to me, and that's fantastic. Let me know. Let me know what you think about Sesko. Do you think Sesko has been given an opportunity? Do you think that he needs time? I know we spent a lot of money on him, but I don't want this rhetoric there again that, because we've signed this young player, the expectation in this fan base, I think at times borders on ridiculous, right? We can go into that as well. We've signed this young kid who hasn't, you look like my supervisor, but United, hilarious. You look like my supervisor. Is your supervisor a good guy or a good girl? I don't mean it in that way. Are they a nice person? But United needs to sell Bruno and Casemiro before Rashford and Garnacho. Interesting opinion. And one thing that you learn about me on here is that you make an opinion and I'll read it out, because ultimately, I think if that's your opinion on that, a valid opinion, right? My opinion on that is different to yours. I think that whilst I do agree that Bruno Fernandes does he need to be... My problem with him, for me, is that we need to replace him. Okay, he is a number 10 and he's playing out of position. Whether I think he's petulant or not, I think he is petulant. I think Fernandes goes missing in those big games, but there is no doubt he's a great player. There is no doubt he's passionate. There's no doubt around the place he is. I've played on Team Ontario under 14s, I have to say. Well done. I don't know, and I'm taking you mean soccer, because Ontario, and I'm taking you mean in Canada, right? So you mean soccer, or do you mean hockey or something? Because I don't know how big football soccer is in Canada. I know it's hockey, isn't it, and stuff. But whatever happens, yes, soccer, yes, Canada. That's pretty good. Yeah, I mean that is. I mean, I don't know how old you are, but I mean, yeah, I mean, and I don't know what level that is. And also, and you're a smart lady, mate. What can I say? What can I say? Thank you very much. Yeah, so I mean, I think people who play football at any level, thank you. I appreciate that. I think anybody that's played football at any level. So I remember, and when I was about, God, must have been about 2023. I used to play football, not for like any big teams, but I remember once I played at Leighton Orient. Now, if you know who they are, you seem like the dude who's chill for the most part, but goes batshit crazy every time someone steps on your shoe accidentally. Not at all, my friend. Shanky, okay. I'm pretty chill. Obviously, it's not nice for somebody to step on your shoe. And if I will say this, I'm pretty chill. Amazing. No, I am pretty chill. There's only a couple of things in life that wind me up. But I think I'm pretty chill on the most part. If it's an accident, I can deal with that. Yeah, I'm. You seem like the dude who's chill, but for the most part, quality comment. I think you could take the United job, mate. I would be absolutely awful at it. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be too emotional. I'd probably pick the wrong players. Haha, he's joking. I know he is. I know he is. I know he is. That's why I found it funny. It's hilarious. So I'll tell you a story. So I played at Orient, and if you know who they are, I think Leighton Orient are now in League Two, League One, or are they in the Championship? I agree with you. City versus it's going to be amazing. I'm going to do a watch along for that, so watch out for that. I am going to do one. So I did score. I scored an absolute worldie, right? But then the next day we played against Leighton Orient, right? So we played against Leighton Orient under 18s, right? Honestly, right? It's a different level. And the reason why I've got so much respect for like under 18s or whatever level that you play at, honestly, like we've got absolute. So Tyler says, "Yo, hello, my friend." It is ridiculous. So even going back nearly 19 years, even at that level, under 18s, it's a different world. The way they pass, the way they move. So I've got respect for youth players because they're absolutely quality. I'm not trying to start bad vibes, but my mate died a couple of days ago. R.I.P. to you, mate. To JJ. Tyler, sorry to hear that, mate. I think that is awful. You know what I'll say. If you've never watched the show before, right? One of the things that we do in here, my friend, and not, I appreciate you being here, and absolutely more than happy to send. I think it's awful, right? How I normally end my shows is I always say this because it's really important, right? Is that one thing in life is you can't buy time and you can't buy health, right? And when you guys come on here and you interact with me and you spend time with me and the community on here, is I find that amazing, So, and what I find as well is sometimes this is therapy for people, right? I don't know what happened to your friend, but it is horrific, and sometimes there are more important things than football. And more than happily, mate, bring it in here. If get into the chat, get into this community. Very, very supportive community on here, mate. So absolutely, really, really sorry. It's absolutely awful, my friend. So my thoughts are with you, and obviously your friends, family as well. Absolutely awful, my friend. What's the consensus for Sunday? Nick Marshall. What's the consensus for Sunday? I think we're going to beat City. I do. I think much like we caught Arsenal cold, I think we can catch City cold as well. City haven't been playing well. Can City get up for the derby? I don't know. Can we get up for the derby? I'd like to think that we beat them. Sometimes you don't know why you think something. I just think that we're going to beat them. I think it's going to be a very, very close game. I think it's going to be a 2-1, a 1-0. But the one thing we can't do is I don't think we can score early and just hold on to that lead, because it just doesn't happen. So I think what happens is, I'm going to be very specific here. I think City take the lead. City might even take a bigger lead. I think we're better when we're trying to come back at them. So I think City might take the lead, and then we'll come back into the game, and I think we'll win the game by the odd goal. And I will go through some stuff as well. So let's go through that now, right? So on the keeper situation, Nick, Biender's in goal. I was wrong on that. I said Lemens I thought would be in goal, but I get why he's protecting him. On the injury front, Cunha, Mount, and a Delo are unavailable. Cunha's trying to get back, but he may be out to the next international break. Mason Mount, and as we've spoken about on here, and I'll go over that again. Mason Mount, I feel sorry for the lad. There's not time on him again. So Mason Mount looks like he's probably going to be injured. I touch wood, I hope not, but he could be out for a significant amount of time again. So one of the things I've been consistent on this through pre-season, been consistent when people were saying that he's a great player. I don't disagree with that, but I've always had to prefix this with he's got a career-ending injury if he doesn't get it fixed. He needs an operation. It's going to take him out for 6 months, and when does he have this operation? So for me, Mason Mount is out. I think he's been a great player. I feel really, really, really badly for the player, but I think he's going to be out for quite some time again. So let's see. But other than that, Mazraoui's back, which I think is fantastic. So I think Amorim for me, if he gets his squad right, I think we can win the game. But it's whether or not he can get that blend right for the City game. It's either you or an Asian girl from Thailand. Oh, Nam, you remind me of David from Friends, the scientist from Minsk. Hilarious. I love Friends. That is hilarious. City just look bored. I agree with you. So by the way, Indonesia can make the World Cup. I'd love to see them in the World Cup. I love to see new teams. Yeah, I think those at the World Cup would be brilliant. I always love to see, the one thing for me about the World Cup, which I love and I've always loved ever since the 1990 World Cup. That was the first one for me. I remember the Euros at 88, but I remember 1990. The fact that I think there's more teams, isn't it? Indonesia, giving these countries time at a World Cup, I think is only great for the World Cup, and I love the non-established teams, and I really hope one day that a kind of non-established team can win it. I think it'd be brilliant. Nom Nom says I'm from Ethiopia, and it's our New Year 2018. So Happy New Year to us. Happy New Year to Ethiopia. Nom Nom, welcome to the chat, my friend. Legendary. Nick Marsh says, I'm a big blue. I'll be there Sunday, and I think it's a toss of a coin. So, Nick, what I will always say on here about fans from other clubs, welcome here. I'll always be respectful to the fans, because we're all in the same boat, right? And what I'll always say as well is that big up to match-going fans. Whether you're a match-going fan of a different club as well, I think you guys are the lifeblood, even if you can't fill your stadium. I'm joking, by the way. But you are the lifeblood of the club. You guys go most weeks, rainstorm, it must be nice to have a stadium that when it rains, the roof doesn't leak. So that must be nice. But yeah, I think the match going fans go home and away, who live it every single week. It's okay for me to sit here, watch it on TV in the comfort of my sort of home. So big respect. And I do agree with you, Nick, as well. I think it is a toss of a coin. I think it's going to be a very, very, very even game. And Nick, as you're on here, what I want to ask you as well, as a City fan, what's the consensus on Pep right now? I know, Pep being one of the best coaches probably ever. My question to you is, what's the consensus on Pep? So this is your worst start, I believe, since 2004. So what's the consensus on Pep? If Pep loses this match, is it a case of, Pep is just having maybe a bad few games, or is there a feeling that Pep is kind of starting to kind of lose interest and maybe is going to move? I mean, I'd be interested to get your opinions on that. Corbin says Indonesia can actually make the World Cup. We'll see in October. I think that would be a fantastic. Rupert Kawar says hi. New Era went to bed crying. New Era, why did you go to bed crying, my friend? New Era, tell me why you went to bed crying. Aliosh Ban says, can we get the Champions League quota this year? Interesting. Do you mean England, the English league, or do you mean a different league? I don't see why not. Cannot wait Commonwealth Games. I do like Commonwealth Games. I'm a big athletics fan. Always have been. Talk about that all day. Canada, Poland. I love England. Cool. Nick Marshall, our stadium has become a tourist attraction that you will never have experienced. During your pomp, the atmosphere is on its burn. One thing I will say, Nick, is that despite obviously the charges out there, right? One thing I will say, from what I've heard and what I've been told, is that what the owners have done is they've invested in the infrastructure around the stadium as well. So, and your owners have actually put money into the club as well. So, as much as it pains me to say, let's see what happens with the 115. And it's not a dig, by the way. But it is. I say that in jest, but the fact that your owners have actually invested in the club and invested in the infrastructure around it, it's. I should imagine that you get a lot of different fans and a lot of international fans, but we're still the bigger club. Nick Marshall says, for the fans that's have got their head screwed on, we would keep him for another 10 years. We have invested heavily in players that are not on the top level of the ones that have been before. And again, Nick, that's an interesting point, my friend. That's an interesting view to hear that. That's an interesting point to make as well. I mean, Fergie, I remember when he recycled teams, and the problem is that Pep's been so good in recruiting the players, and the players that you've had over the last 8 years, it's so hard to replace those players, right? So you've brought a lot of players into the club, and I've got no doubt that once Pep makes these players click, my only comment on that would be, and again, I don't necessarily know the ins and outs of your club, but Pep just looks, I don't know, Pep not bored, but he just looks like, what else is there to win? So I wonder if Pep is just staying on for another year for the continuity, and then you're going to get someone else in. So it's interesting for City. I think they're going through a transition, particularly after a period of success, which has been quite vast, right? So it's going to be a very interesting time for City, I think. Palika King says, "I'm glad that Onana out, even if it's on loan. He has cost us so much points because of his mistakes. Also, as well, money as well. Getting knocked out of Champions League, the Carabao Cup. I mean, not that there's loads of money in that, but the revenue from the match days. Because if you think about it, we make X amount of money per match day, and the less games that we have, the less cash that we make, right? So it's cost us quite a bit. I mean, the UEFA Champions League. I don't know, my friend. Taki's recruitment was poor in the past few years, and now we're seeing the product of that. Same way Fergie at the end, his tenure didn't replace. Exactly. Is Hugo Viana your new recruitment guy? He played for Newcastle, didn't he? Is Viana your new recruitment guy? And no, it's rubbish. I remember Ryan Giggs and Rooney. I do remember them fondly. I remember probably from about 88, 89 onwards. I remember before Giggsy. I remember exactly when Giggs came into the team. I remember the season that we lost to Leeds. We gave up the Premier League, and then I remember Cantona coming in as well. I mean, I go back. Rio Ferdinand. I remember when Rio came through at West Ham, went to Leeds. Then come to us. I was very, very excited. I think that we can both agree that we don't want Liverpool to win the league. Yes, I agree with that. I'm actually rooting for Arsenal this year, but I don't think that they're going to win the league either. So I think we can definitely agree on that one, Nick. Joey Keaton says Rodri is going to get you. I don't know. I don't know. It depends on what Rodri that City have. I don't know. Is he injured? Is he? I don't know. What I will always say about City is that the difference between City and United right now, obviously the differences are we're a club in debt, and I'm not talking about that. Is that City can be who they want to be, right? And what I mean is that City have so many different players, such a big squad. If they wanted to turn up, they can be who they want to be, right? United are limited in what we can achieve. So we have to be at our best, our very best, with this squad that finished 15th, and we've got to hope that we catch City on a bad day or catch City cold, because as we all know, a wounded City, not playing particularly well in the last couple of games, Pep with a point to prove. Let's just see. Martinez is going to be out until at least the next international window, and all I'm going to say with the butcher is, let's keep expectations at the moment. Let's keep our feet on the ground. Best right back in the league. I think Frimpong. I really, really like Frimpong. I can't remember the lad. I think Frimpong for me. I like him a lot. I really, really do. I think it's Frimpong, my friend. Ewan Timber. Timber gets a shout as well. United were going to sign Timber. But the interesting thing about Timber, which I like what Arteta has done, is he's gone from a centre back to a right back, and I actually think that suits him actually better. He's quite mobile. He's obviously he was a centre back, and I think he's under 6 foot, right? So I think he's a good height as well for right back. I think he's really quick, and I've actually been impressed with him as well. Incredible play, I agree. Haaland, if you ask my opinion on Haaland, obviously City fans, let me know. Haaland, I would say, is a specialist in his position. I think he's getting better at link-up play, but we all know what Haaland is, right? Haaland, if you are looking at the epitome of a striker, Haaland is it. Haaland, when you're going to look at the pantheon of strikers in the Premier League, if Haaland keeps it up, Haaland is probably going to be one of the best strikers in this league ever. You know, there is no doubt. You know, he's a specialist, and he's just a. I don't think he's a good. I don't think he's a good all-round player. I think he's getting better, but in his position, I don't really see there's anybody better in that position in the world. We all know what Haaland is. Haaland is a talent. He's again. I think he looks after himself as well. So I think the combination of the mentality, combination of good genes as well, and what he does to himself, I think he's a great player. Ricky B says, "Who has been the best United manager since Ferguson?" Jesus. So what have we got? We've got Moyes, Van Gaal, Jose, Oli, Ranić, Ten Hag, Amorim. That's a very good question. I think that who's been the best manager? I think Jose. I think he's been the best manager. He's won a European Cup. You know, he's won a cup here, cup here. I think it's a combination for me. I think he got hung out to dry. I think Ollie's first couple of months in charge. So I think probably Jose at the beginning, Ollie's first couple of months in charge. But I think our recruitment for coaches have been not great so far. I'm not including Amorim in that just yet. Let's see how he does. But I probably would say on the balance, Jose Mourinho, I think, and that didn't go great either, did it? Every manager has Dave Ferguson now for this City manager. I think United will beat City. Emmy, good evening. John, good evening, my friend. The bell thing ain't working. The bell thing ain't working clearly, and Amorim is the bell thing isn't working clearly. No, it really isn't. And Amorim is a tit. Starting Bienda, he's going to be gone by Christmas. I hope that would be an amazing reset. Present for me, Emmy. Good evening, Emmy. Coming strong with the chat there, my friend. Coming really strong in there with that. The bloody bell thing needs to sort his life out, really, doesn't it? But it's a tit. Starting Bienda. I get why he's starting him. I said Lemens would start. Obviously, I'm wrong on that. I get why he's not starting him. Do I agree with it? No. Logically, it makes sense, but I want to see Amorim being brave. I want to see this club being brave, but Lemens needs to push his way into the team. Is this Amorim being stubborn? Potentially. So let's see where we are. Guys, I've got something coming in. Honestly. Honestly. All right. Anyway. Jesus Christ. Anyway. Bet your house on United winning this week. I wouldn't bet anything on this on this team, I'm afraid. The problem for me, this team has let us down time and time again. I don't trust these players yet. I don't trust them. I cannot trust these players. Finished 15th last season. This team has let us down time and time again. I think if we just, and again, again, when I talk about your opinions and if I disagree, I'm not disputing your opinion. I think it's a really valid thing to say. For me, I just personally don't trust these players yet. I just don't. And until they start to show me something more, I'm not going to trust them. I just can't do it. Ricky B, if Ineos was there from the start, then Mourinho would still be that. Interesting opinion. Really is. I don't know. I think it's really difficult to say. Jose, for me, the problem with him is he's really spiky. You know, he gets sacked now, right? I don't know. I can't dispute that, Emmy, because I've got nothing to logically say on it. As an opinion, I think it's an interesting opinion on it. I just don't. I think he's very. I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence in Ineos either. So until Ineos start to show me something, and again, I won't go into the whole Ineos thing tonight. I'm going to get through this press conference thing as well, and then maybe we can sort of talk about that at the end, Emmy. But I think that's an interesting debating point. Dutch Frimpong, Crystal Palace show the way to get points against City. Nimash says no Cherky, Foden, Nori, Mummish for Sunday. So I'm looking at our squad depth. I think we are struggling. Sometimes, Nick, the team that's struggling to put a team out, in my opinion, always tends to do quite well. I remember the times when we were, when we beat Arsenal 8-2, that team wasn't the greatest team that we sort of had out. But you almost find those players who are on the edge of the team come into the team and start playing well. So, I'm not taking anything from the fact that City have got players out. I think it makes it more of an even game. So I think it's going to be a really close game. I think City, I think you'll be there or thereabouts. You may not be playing particularly well, but can we put the ball in the back of the net? I want to see us come out, and I want to see us fight, and I want to see us fight until the end. So let's see. Ricky B says, I think Jose, a Viking, ruthless scorer. I agree. So press conference wise, what is Diff Bat and Robin, what is the channel about? The United Devil channel. If you don't know, it's a United fan channel. But what we do on here is we go a little bit kind of more than that. We you guys bring different things into the chat. I lead with some stuff, but again, we go off on different things. This truly is a community-led show, in my opinion. This is one of the best chats. You guys, a lot of you have been with me from the start. We're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. As long as we are respectful into the chats, people bringing random chats in. Happy to if you've got something on your mind, bring it into the show. And as long as it's respectful. Once I've got through this is a late show, so we tend to talk about other things as well. So we'll bring all that into the show as well. Knowing Bienda is starting, my predicted lineup is Bienda, Yoro, Delic, Shaw, Ahmad, Dorgu, Cass, Manu, Bruno, and Burma. Shesko. I don't disagree with that. Yoro, Delic, Shaw, Ahmad, Dorgu, Casemiro, Manu, Bruno, and Burma, Shesko. That makes sense. Yeah, yeah, I think that makes sense. I think pushing Bruno to the other number 10. The only thing, Emmy, that I would change on that is I think that Mazraoui plays a part. So I think that Mazraoui comes in for Ahmad as a wing back. I think Ahmad gets pushed to number 10, and I think Bruno stays as number 8. And I think that probably mainly drops out for Casemiro, but I hope Casemiro is the one that drops out. F1 Turbo 77 United is F Turbo 77. I am yeah, I am not going to disagree. I don't like the. I wouldn't particularly use that word. What I would say is that we're not very good, mate. I've had 12 years to get over it, mate. I'm over it. I am not a United fan. Um, I am not a United fan that is, mate. I'm 42 years old, right? I look at things in a pragmatic and a logical way. I know this club is on its knees. I know the club is on its arse. I'm over it. So, if you're gonna come in and troll, at least make it a good troll. You're certainly not going to get at me, and this chat is you know um, you just can't get as fans. So I think really the person that needs to get over it at F1 is you, my friend. So feel free to come on, contribute something. If you could contribute a logical argument or a logical thought, give us a little bit more as to why you think we are crap. I can tell you why we're crap. But yeah, anything football related jokes, knowledge, banter, anything, bro, just not politics. Exactly, Emmy summed it up fantastically well. Amorim has not been great. Ricky B, I think it's hard, mate. It's hard. It's hard. I think it's really hard. I think it's difficult, mate. I think it's difficult. I really do. Do you wear those shoes? Yes, I do. I got another channel where basically I review running shoes. I review technology as well. It started off as one channel. It's actually a fair sized channel. It's not doing great, but it's a fair sized channel. I've kind of shifted my focus from that channel more so to this one, but I run a lot. My other channel, if you want to know anything about me, there's quite personal stuff on there as well. There's quite in-depth stuff. So if you want to learn about me, it's over there. Yeah. So I wear those shoes. I run a lot. I've got a bunch of shoes everywhere. I get sent shoes as well. So yeah, I do. M. Merslin, only one question. I don't know. Emmy, why he's starting him, to be honest, but Amorim could find a cure for every illness in the world, and I'd still not like him. I'm petty. Emmy, right? In life, my friend, right? For whatever reason, you just don't like people, right? You just don't like people, right? You can't like everybody. It could just be him as a person. It could just be you don't like the way he speaks. It could just be you don't like his face. People have told me on here they don't like me. Could be my face, could be my beard. They've said mean things to me in life, right? People just don't like people sometimes, and I don't think it's pettiness. I just think sometimes you just don't like the vibe of a person, and there's nothing wrong with that. And as you said, as long as we are all respectful of people, you still don't have to like them, but you can still be respectful to a point. F1 Turbo says United is the worst team in the world. Really hope they get relegated this season. Ugh, honestly. Are you so? Were you born in '77? Right, because if you are, that makes you what, 48, right? Are you telling me at 48 years old, you're coming on here with childish comments saying that we are the worst work club in the world and we're going to go down this season. We're not, are we? F1 Turbo. I mean, honestly, mate, I would much rather you come on here and tell me why. Tell me why we are the worst club in your eyes. I can tell you why I think we're an awful club, and I'm a fan. I can tell you reason after reason why I think we're a toxic club. Do I think we're going to go down? No, and I'll give you a logical answer as to why that we go down. F1, just give us something. Give this community something to talk about. Give us your reason why, and let us debate it out. Do you know Canada soccer? I don't, my friend. I don't. I really don't. Probably slightly ignorant on that. Not because I'm just trying to. Not because I'm more ignorant. Not because I'm being rude. But I'm probably more ignorant in terms of I just sort of watch the kind of European leagues. I don't really even keep up on the US league either. But I'll certainly look out for that player. Anyone played Duckside? Yes, he's a runner. I think I do. Marathons, half marathons, 5Ks, 10Ks. I do some ultra marathons as well. In May I did 100K. Brutal, absolutely brutal. Edit Scotland says AFC 1903 have been. I know Buchanan. Combin, I know Buchanan. F1 says, see how he know they're a worst team in the world. Can't even say. F1 Turbo. If you listen to what I just said, I can say I can tell you reasons why. And I listen. I will categorically say that we're not the worst team in the world. I can think of 19 other teams, 18 other teams, right? What I'm saying to you is, I've said this before. I've been open about this club. I've told you. I've told this community where I am on this club many times. If you go back and watch the videos of me, that what I can't be bothered to do tonight is, if you're not going to get into an adult logical debate as to why you think we're the worst team, I literally cannot be bothered. I've said it many times. I've got some stuff to go through. If you can't tell me in an adult logical way as to why you think we're the worst team, I don't think we are. I think we're a very toxic team at times. I've said it before. So feel free to enlighten me and enlighten us as to why you think, because you're not giving me anything. You're literally just giving me statements and not backing it up. So it's up to you. Continue, but I need adult words. Now, this is literally the week for you. I agree with you. So, bro, I was replying to the guy called about, I need a new PS5 controller. FC messes them up bad. Is that because you're chucking them? F1 Turbo, mate. Honestly, you're going to get banned in a minute, mate. I give people a chance. I hate banning people. All I'm asking for, F1 Turbo, is give a logical reason instead of just giving this illogical, childish statements. Give the chat something to debate. Give me something to debate, as opposed to just spouting stuff. Just been Higgs' new Xbox controller ready for Friday. Turbo, we know. It'll be City this week. I will have to make do. I go away in 3 weeks. I'm going to say it first. Shesko double. ME. I'm not going to say it because it sounds too much like, do they do? I think they do. This will be the turnaround for for the next 5 years plus. I hope so, my friend. But we don't condone kicking polar bears unless they have no paws. Then John will kick them. No, Emmy, right. I do not condone cruelty to anything, any animal, even little insects, right? what we were talking about is, would I rather fight a crocodile with no teeth or a polar bear with no paws? All I'm saying is if I'm being attacked by a polar bear, right? I'm not going to instigate it. If a polar bear hasn't got any paws and can't move, right? I'm going to leave it alone. I'm walking away, right? If a polar bear with no paws comes attacking me, is coming at me fast, I haven't got a choice. I haven't got a choice. I've got to defend myself from a polar bear. That's what I'm saying, mate. I think if you're going to fight a crocodile with no teeth, that can still catch you like in its teeth and still, but a polar bear, mate, it's easier, isn't it? If it's got no paws, it can't claw you. So, easy option. Most of them have stick drift like mine, which was £80. I've just got the basic controller. Emmy, that's my prediction for what Amron will play. I wouldn't have Shaw or Brina or Cass anywhere near. Key one, W1 Football says, so Brenner is low key, is carrying his. Mate, he's not low key in anything. He carried the club last season. He's not carrying the club this season, mate. Fernandes for me has been okay, but I think you're right for last season, but the problem he has this season is he doesn't need to carry the club. I think he's struggling with his new position, as he should do, because he's a number 10. He's struggling to adapt and struggling to stay in his position. So I don't think he is, mate. I think he's quite equal this season, but what I cannot argue is the impact that he has on this team. So I think he's carrying this club less and less this season, but I do think the comment is probably the right thing to say, particularly for the last 4 or 5 years. Where did you get it? I've still got an N64 controller in the loft. I have an N64 somewhere. I might put it up there actually. So I think I've got 3 N60 controllers knocking around. Well, in fact, I know what I have. I've even got the games, and I think I've got a working N64 as well. So don't listen to his third leg. Don't listen to him. It's his third leg channel. Look, mate. No, that's called OnlyFans, Scott. How can people not like you? You're awesome, Emmy. You're too kind, mate. You are too kind. People in life, people can't like everybody. It's life. But thank you. Is this guy troll? Probably. He's a sad, lonely old man who lives in his mum's basement. To be honest with you, Scott, I think he puts people in a basement. Emmy, I can confirm he's a sad old man who lives in his mum's basement. I love it. No, the guy who's trolling me. Oh, he's true. Hilarious, Ricky B. I don't mind me asking, what do you do as a profession? You don't know. I'm an IT consultant. Okay. Long story. I'm a trained accountant. Okay. But I'm a software IT consultant. So I consult on not as in IT, as in like I build computers and that kind of stuff. I basically consult on finance software. So it means that I sort of do consulting on like how you set up your financial systems, and then how you kind of work the systems around. So it's really, really boring, but that's what I do. Who will win tomorrow, Elijah? I think that if you're talking about City and United, I think United will win that. I need to, and I don't know who's playing. I've not really looked at it yet. But off the top of my head, I can't really think who's playing tomorrow. But my focus is on United. Me sell you Xbox and get a PS5. Uncle, how do you overcome financial problems? Push. Um. Oh. Um. How you overcome financial problems? That's a very. I'd need to know a little bit more than financial problems. It depends on what your problems are, my friend. It depends on circumstances, jobs, debts. Do you have a family to support? There's the only way to overcome financial issues is, number one, don't hide from them. One thing I'll always say to people: if you've got financial issues, don't hide from them. Do not bury your head in the sand. There are always ways, I mean, legal ways to solve your issues. So number one, I'd always say consult a professional. And number two, don't hide from it. So yeah, Villa, yeah, I agree with you. He started adult swim with his third leg. It's like a baby's arm, mate. Emmy, I'm happy for you to put that out there. I'm more than happy. Arsenal fan here. United will win. Yeah. Thank you, my friend. Arsenal fans are welcome here. I'm sure you guys will do extremely well as well. United will come right. Amorim and the team just need some time. Eliza, mate, I think you speak sense. I think a very, very sensible person. I don't know your age. I was going to call you a young man. You might be an older man, or but yeah, very, very sensible. Simon Jago says Onana is the worst keeper in the league. There's a starting point. He is, and now he's gone, and I am glad he's gone. When you get one, give me a shout, Scott. We can cross play. Emmy, thank God. I mean, I for a second then saw Scott. We can. I saw that in something completely different. No, they're to be too experienced. United worst team. JB just want to beat up animals. Hey, that is a rumor that's been spread around by you guys. That's not true. Look. All I'm saying, if any animal tries to attack me, I've got to defend myself. It's just true, mate. I love how he tries to justify the polar bear. Look. All I'm saying is, like, if I ever meet a polar bear with no paws, right, I'm taking a wide berth. I'm not going anywhere near it. Can you imagine the news? Like, guy from Essex beats up disabled polar bear. I mean, that'd be horrific. Rob Taff says, even hit those like and subscribe. Exactly. Give us a subscribe. Give us a like. It really does help us out. Money in the old console stuff got a ton at my mum's. Yeah. I've got a Dreamcast sitting. I'm looking at it. I've got a PS1 there as well. Back in the day, I was an absolute geek. Yeah. Let me get through these chats, and then imagine being all right. Okay. Let's get into this, Emmy, because I'm liking this, right? So imagine being a T-Rex, amazing predator. Then you get them little hands. You can't even do anything with God was playing with that design. I mean, T-Rexes, right? I mean, thank God he made them. But again, why do you need like little hands when you've got a big old face, big massive head, and you're like the biggest thing around? I mean, what are arms going to do? I mean, it does always crack me up, though, these little tiny arms and these like it's like massive head and big long tail. All I'm saying is, thank God a T-Rex is not a bloke. Can you imagine being like a teenage bloke with those really little small hands? That's all I'm saying on that one. I've got an N64, Mega Drive, Dreamcast, PS1, 2, 3, Xbox. All right, Emmy. little bit of a brag there. I'm kidding. I've got a Nintendo 64. I've got a Mega Drive that doesn't work. I've got a Dreamcast down there that does work. I've got a PS1 that does work. I've got a PS3. I used to have an Xbox, but I don't know where that's gone. I've currently got an Xbox Series X. So yeah, but I mean, I've had God, so much stuff. Cold Logic says hi. Again, welcome here, my friend. Do you do financial stuff? Why ain't you sorting the Glazers out? I used to do financial stuff. I used to do like a proper accountancy job. Mate, if I could sort them out, I would. But you know, yeah, they're you know, I could be the inside man, couldn't I? I could try to get like a job there, and try to oust them. I could try to set them up. Fintech. Do you work with Salesforce? I do actually. I do work with Salesforce. I do actually. Yeah, I do. Yeah. That's a fortune. Even the controllers. Yeah. JB job is fighting wild polar bear. No, my job is fighting disabled polar bears. Let's just get that one right. Overcome financial problems. Easy win the lottery. Yes, he's got all the controllers. N64 Pikachu one. Wow. I'm a Chelsea fan. The last couple of games of City will win. Stephen Moore. Interesting. Welcome, my friend. Welcome as always. I hope, joking, I hope you never paid somebody to paint that ceiling. Whoever cut that ceiling in has committed a crime against all the best fella. It wasn't like it was me or anything, mate. Look, I'm a finance person, right? I just quickly slap some paint up there, right? I know it's awful. I know it is, right? But if I do that, then you can't see it. There you go, done. You go. I fixed the ceiling. I fixed it, mate. Fixed it. But yes, I've been told I've committed crimes. There's a reason why I hire people to come and paint. I didn't let them come and paint this room, but there's a reason why I hire people to do jobs for me. That's because I'm crap. I have to look into the prices. City go to Arsenal next weekend after losing to us. It might be Pep's worst start. Exactly, I agree. And talking about fashion around the world, which do you like, Free Fire or talking about fashion? Which one do you like? I have no idea what you're talking about at all. No idea, my friend. Absolute zero idea what you're talking about. Who do you support, Rob? Spurs. Komodo Dragon has entered chat. Komodo Dragon. Stop hating on the polls. Like banter in a panda bear. Sold my N64 and I got a Wii and an Xbox. I've got a Wii as well. That sounds terrible, doesn't it? Yeah, I've got a Wii like number one sat around somewhere. I'm gonna have to dig all my stuff out and stick it up there, I think. The polar bears are bears, do you think? Of course they're bears. Yeah, they are proper bears. Yeah, they are bears. So polar bears are bears to you, no? Yeah, they are. Yeah, I agree. Man, I used to love Wii Sports. Well, Emmy, you used to love Wii Sports, mate. I don't want to know about your private life. You can't violate the T-Rex like this. It's outrageous. Not even able to defend those outrageous stereotypes. Greatest video game of all time. Or Code Logic. Mate. Now you are busting it out. Greatest video game of all time. Whew. I'll tell you what, you need to get into the chat with this one. Greatest video game of all time. I'm just trying to think. Jeez Louise. I think one of the greatest video games of all time for me is Grand Theft Auto number 3. So the old Grand Theft Auto on PlayStation, like the top-down view, was great. I mean, getting a PS2 and Grand Theft Auto number 3 was mind-blowing for me. It was absolutely it changed the game. Absolutely changed the game completely. I thought number 3 for me was probably one of the best of all time. Vice City is probably for me one of the better ones on the basis that the 80s, I love the 80s and the soundtrack, but number 3 was where they proper changed the game. So I think probably GTA 3 for me is probably one of the better ones. Bloody hell, they put me on the spot. So GoldenEye, I think on the N64 as well, is probably one of the best games ever. I mean, spent hours on that as well. That's probably one of the best games. Street Fighter 2 on the Mega Drive for me was an absolute. I love that game. What else? I mean, there's just so many games out there. Metal Gear Solid, first one as well. I mean, that's such a different game. I love that as well. Jokey is the kind of guy who pulls out a fish out of water, stares at it and says, "Hey, look, you can't breathe and have no legs. Look, have you been watching me?" Because, and says, "Why did Manchester United team manager bring a ladder to the match? Because the team was stuck in the bottom of the table." Oh, you're cracking me up. For me, it's Red Dead Redemption 2 without a shadow of a doubt. Never felt so many emotions playing a game. Currently going through my 4th run, but my first game was Altered Beast. That's special to me. I love that as well. It's very, very good. MW2, the original one. EastEnders I watch. I consult Salesforce companies Dreamforce soon. That's interesting. Yeah, I just use it as part of my sort of job. Not to any thing. Yeah, I specialize in legal finance software. John has a flea circus and he makes them jump all day. He treats them like slaves. Again, you must know. I've got fleas. I do. I love to see them, suffer. They barely get fed. I might let them be on the dog for like an hour or two, but then straight back to jumping. That will keep me awake at night. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a great shout. What's yours? I think Tottenham fans, Days Gone was sick and no PS3 version. Would you rather? Okay. Right. Okay. And then I'll go back to football. Would you rather punch a horse and knock him out or kick a dog? I don't want to do either, to be honest with you. I mean, I will answer the question, right? But I mean, I don't want to do either. I mean, like at least with the polar bear thing, at least like the polar bear is a big animal and just like had no paws, right? But it still has big teeth. I mean, punching an innocent horse. Imagine just walking up to a horse and just punching the horse for no reason. I mean, come on. I mean, that's just horrible. Or kick a dog. I mean, I'm probably going to go with a horse, right? Because I reckon a horse could take a right hook. Like, I mean, there's not many people who are gonna, punch a horse, and So I think a dog's too small. I mean, I do not want to kick a dog. I mean, I think that's awful. I don't particularly want to punch a horse, but I just think a horse could take a right hook more than a dog could be kicked in the balls. What's up with it? Mason Mount? Honestly, injury prone along with Shaw. Important games. No Cunha, no Matt. Somehow Bruno had a break game, and it will be difficult. So I'm going to come back to football for a second. So injuries update, and I will answer that. So on Cunha, Mason Mount, they are out for this game. I don't know how long it's going to take. So this is a quote They are out for this game. I don't know how long it's going to take. If you talk with Cunha outside, he will say he's able to play this game. So I don't know. We will manage him on a day by day. Yeah, that's Cunha on that one, and Mason Mount. See, I ain't playing Days Gone. Fun fact: GTA was made and developed in Scotland. Yeah, it was. Metal Gear 1, Vice City, or yeah, I agree with that. GTA is the GOAT, but Super Concert is OG. I've read lots of amazing stuff about it. That's why I'm getting the PS5 with GTA 6. Metal Gear, solid. Snake, what a guy he was. Absolute legend, mate. Absolute legend. On the dog for an hour or two. Yeah, you know, nobody can say to me that I'm not fair to them fleas. JB has trained mice to fetch his mail for him, and when he puts them back in the electric, look, all I'm saying is, if you're gonna train things right, that you imagine how I train my children. They sleep on a bed of nails. I think in life, I think you've got to be logical, but you've also got to be fair as well. And I think you've got to rule with an iron fist. So I think that when you are the master of your house, you just got to rule with an iron fist, right? Song requests: can you sing sweet? No. If you were to hear me sing, you would probably go deaf, and I'd probably get banned from YouTube. So yeah. Masraoui Ahmed off the bench. Last year's was cancelled. This year's will be released. John hates horses. He rides them until they fall and punches them to knock out. Yeah. To be clear, I love horses, and I absolutely don't want to hurt them. But all I'm saying is, if you look at the size of a horse and you look at the size of a dog, right? A horse could take a right hook. That's all I'm saying. I think I'm going to have to get it now. Take it back to my youth. Did you know it was JB taught Chuck Norris had to throw a roundhouse kick? It was. It was. We basically used to train with horses, and one of the things was, can you knock out a horse with a roundhouse kick? So it's a trap. It'll take months out of your life. I love the Chuck Norris memes. Yeah. Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He holds the world down. I love it. And that says cricket is the best sport in the world because players play for their own nation. Not to insult cricket fans, it's not for me. I don't mind it. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. It's been a sport that's been around a long, long time, but for me, cricket is just not it. And he says Chuck Norris has a grizzly bear rug in his bedroom. It's not dead. He's just scared to move. Chuck Norris can do a wheelie on a unicycle. Death has near Chuck Norris experience. Back to animals. If you were reincarnated but couldn't be human, which animal would you choose to be? I'd come back as a polar bear, mate. Come back as a polar bear with no paws. Score prediction for Sunday, I think it'll be 2-1. I think United will win 2-1. Emmy, when Alexander Bell invented the telephone, he already had 3 missed calls. Chuck Norris. What's the difference, JP and Chuck Norris? Chuck Norris pets polar bear. JP punches him. Cold Logic, a great white shark. Honestly. And the new keeper. So I'll give you a quick overview of that. So Binder will start in goal. We have an option. This will give us different things in the moment, but also has a great potential to be a goalkeeper for a lot of years. So that was our choice in the end. I wish the best to Onana. So he described Onana as someone with a lot of potential and said they need both experience and future in the goalkeeping department. So Binder's going to start in goal. Now, Amorim was also asked about approach and the mindset versus City. He acknowledged the strength of City, calling them a top team. For me, with the best coach in the league. He said the table, United being above City currently doesn't matter in the big picture, emphasising that principles, the preparation and belief are more important. Amorim said what makes them so tough. They have maybe the best coach in the world. They have top players. It will be a difficult match. They can play in different ways, and it's hard to understand and think how they're going to face us. I'm more focused on our problems. I'd be a kangaroo or a dolphin. Chuck Norris once uppercutted a horse. Its descendants are called giraffes. Mate, see, if it's good enough for Chuck Norris to uppercut a horse, then all I'm saying is a right hook is not going to hurt it. Hopefully he doesn't flap. Mate, I'm sorry, mate. I think he's going to flap. I think he flaps all game long. Chuck Norris didn't dial the wrong number. You answered the wrong phone. I love it. Amorim, a little bit to finish off the conference. Tactics, belief, and the match approach. I think we are a better team. If you see any aspect of the data, we are a different team. We are ready to play the game, but we have to show it on Sunday. It will be a very good game. We know what to do. I have one more training. The table in the moment, it doesn't matter. I worry about maintaining the same principles. Chuck Norris can win Connect 4 in 3 moves. Where are we? Code Logic 4 and against a new stadium. I am against the new stadium, and I'll tell you for why that is as well. Expect here we make sketchy subs. It depends. Artful budget. It depends on who he's got available, right? I've had enough with these. With the Chuck Norris means if he was that hard, he would come here and smash my face in with my. Mate, it is cracking me up. So, am I against the new stadium? Get into the chat on the stadium. I'm against it because what it means is that the Glazers will be here for. The Glazers and their parasite family will be here for years and years and years and years. It will put more money into their pocket. It basically means that the stadium is being funded by probably part of the government investment. It's going to be an absolute shambles of a circus. It already looks like a circus tent. There's going to be, there's going to be concerts in it. It's going to be an absolute just a shambolic monstrosity. We're leaving our home. What Liverpool have done to Anfield, their sacred home. The Nou Camp as well, for example, that's their home. They've taken care of it. Anfield, they've taken care of that. And the Glazers have let our home rot, rust, ruin because they are disgusting people. So I'm against it. I have no choice in it where we play. I think it's absolutely disgusting what they've done to this club. I'm against it for what it represents. It represents profit over people. It represents our old club being destroyed, and for what? For money. In life, there's bigger things than money. And the Glazers have let this club go to. They've just let it go to ruin. I'm against it completely. Code Lodge ME 22 and I says, why did Bruno Fernandes get kicked out of the bakery? Because every time he got a roll, he tried to take the penalty for it. Well, what about the rumours of a Rich Arab buying the Blazers out? Load of nonsense, mate. Load of nonsense. Would you prefer a Jazim 100% ownership? Now, what I want. And I'll tell you for where I am on this one. If Sir Jim had have come in and cleared the debt, or the debt was cleared, and Sir Jim wanted to take us into a model where we would be self-sustaining and live off of our profits. I'm not against that. I'm not against that whatsoever. If Jazim comes in, I mean, am I overly happy with Qatar? Ethically, no. But if it leads to a pathway of, somebody coming in clearing that debt, then yes. But I would love the almost the debt to be cleared, and then the club's owned by the fans. I mean, a kind of part ownership by Sir Jim and in part ownership by the fans. But the fact that the debt is still here, I would prefer, what I would prefer is an owner to clear the debt, to come in and understand that they're a custodian of the club, right? Yes, they invest in it. Yes, they may own the club, but they are a custodian of the club. The club doesn't belong to the club. Will never truly belong to them. They can think that it does, but it doesn't. All they're doing is they are taking stewardship of the club. They are looking after it, and then when the time is right, they pass it on to the next owner of the club. That's what I want. I'm not necessarily fussed about loads of money. I want to compete as well. So maybe I'm a naive fan, but what I really want is I want an ownership that means that we can be sustainable, we can be competitive, but at the same time there is no debt. That's sort of where I am. I do wonder why Amorim doesn't play Xerxes. I think ball control wise, he's probably the best we've got. I just think it's about trust, right? I think he just doesn't trust him. I don't think it bodes well for him, right? I think it doesn't bode well for him. I think he'll probably go. I do. I think he'll probably go. I think as a signing, I was very confused by the signing, to be honest with you. But I think he'll go. Again, there's some players that are good. Like there's some players that are good, but they just don't work out. And Xerxes is one of those players. I admire his determination. He could have left, but he said, no, I'm going to stay. I admire him. But I just think he's just the wrong fit, But my worry is that does Amorim walk? And then, so, I think next season, if Amorim is still here, I think Xerxes goes. I think it's a shame. Unless he can do something to force his way into this team, I think he's gone next season. I love dark jokes, but can't say any on here. JB would get flagged. Exactly. I do love a dark joke. I do have a dark joke myself, but I can't really say too much. Scott, my jokes are darker than under your bed, but yes, it would ban the channel. Are you watching Mark Goldbridge? Not really. What I will say about him, and I get asked about this a lot, he's in a completely different league to me. We're not even in the same stratosphere, right? What the one thing I will say about Mark Goldbridge is that I don't know him, so I'm never going to say anything just for clicks. Whether people like him or not, people have to respect the fact that probably without him and without that, it's paved the way for people to do this. It's paved the way for me, right? And you've got to respect the fact that 2.2 million views. They've got the Bundesliga. I mean, phenomenal. What they've done for fan channels. I mean, I don't necessarily know what it's like now, but the guy. You've got to admire the hustle. The guy, I believe, streams like two or three times a day. You've got to respect the work ethic, and you've got to respect the channel. Anybody that calls him out for anything other than I get you like who you like, right? But anybody calling him out, I think some of the channels that call him up. Particularly if you notice, it's the majority of the people that were on there. I think they forget that the only reason why they've got their audience was because they were on that channel. So I think a lot of people probably owe a lot of careers to him. As a channel goes, I don't really watch it these days. But it's loved by many, and it's the original one. Do I think it's the best? I think we are the best. We're a fraction of the size. We're not even on the radar, not even in and it's not a competition as such because they'd win. But respect to the channel. What's an American's favorite sport? Is that a joke? I think an American's favorite sport. Carlos says a proper billionaire, or the Saudi guy. I'd like him to buy the Glazers out, but let Ineos run the football side. No, I get Ineos out of this club, mate. I would keep the football people. I'd keep the football people that we've probably got, but no, Ineos for me has to go. Sir Jim hasn't been great, to be honest. Where are you from, and where do you live now? I am originally from Wales, the land of mountains, the land of singing, but I live in Essex, so I live in England. Scott, can I answer? This is to do with schools. United generates more than enough to be fan owned. Exactly. The Glazers haven't put a penny in, and they've taken millions out and made horrendous decisions. Code Logic, I salute you. I'm with you on that one, 100%, 100% on that. Glazers are parasites of this club, and I mean, you've probably all heard the stories of how the Glazers operate, how they got the Buccaneers, what they did there in over the States, and how they managed to get a stadium funded as well. Malcolm Glazer, probably, don't speak ill of the dead, but what an absolute. Some people would call him a mastermind. I'd call him a parasite. I'd call his family, they're basically parasites as well. They feed off assets that they don't own. They don't own this club in terms of they've never bought this club. The club is on debt, and they use this club to service their debt and to service their greed. Good luck to them. That if they can sleep well at night with their billions of pounds, which I'm sure they do, then good luck to them. Bodger better than the Glazers, to be honest, but not as good as we need. And we need to start using Nice like Chelsea use Strasbourg. I don't know why we don't, mate. I really don't know why. Fun fact: last year Liverpool made 717 million, and we made 784. And me, like, how can that not be enough? Like, how can we literally be in so much debt that we can't afford players? I mean, it baffles me. I mean, I'm embarrassed to say that what I should do is I should read the financial statements a little bit more, and come to a conclusion, really. So the next set of financial statements are due out, so I'm gonna read through those, because this club is just what's this I've heard about Chelsea? Just remind me something about 74 charges, and they grassed themselves in. I think they had to. Revenue isn't profit, mate, and the reason that Liverpool couldn't spend 400 million in the transfer window is not bothered about FFP. Show that. It's true. It is true. It is true. I want to see revenue made against the expenses out of the club, and then the profit behind that as well. So I'd be, and also don't forget the amortization as well, because that comes off as an expense as well. There's so many factors: agent fees, amortization. There's all sorts of factors that go into taking off of the income as well. So I'm going to need to read that financial statement for this year or the previous year. Xerxes is really similar to what made very skillful, need the player to their stature. Can't stand Brent. He's a Forest fan, but from Nottingham, doesn't even support United. He just fanboy. I don't know if that's true, Emmy. I mean, people have their opinion, right, on certain things, right? But I think the one thing I will say about that channel is no matter what people say about him as a person, as a platform, I think, there's so many people on there that I could name that I watch, and I think like the channels that they do are not great, but they've all got these channels now, right? And they've made their money, or they've made the channel off the back of being on that channel. So I think whether or not you necessarily agree with him, and I'm maybe I shouldn't be bigging him up or the channel up, but I think respect to the channel. But a lot of channels out there, I think, forget where they come from, and they forget the reason why they've got the fan base on their channels is because they started out on there. So it's a interesting world on here. Did you know JB got his trainers for free? He has a Chinese sweatshop under his house, and they're all making them for him. A man's got to eat, right? I don't really want to pay for trainers. As a former accountant, I'm quite tight, so I really hate paying for stuff. So if I can get things made for cheap or things for free, you do the same. Budget I see, Matt. I'm not all clued up with financial side of football. Mark is the pioneer. Yeah, he is, mate. He is. And again, I absolutely agree with that statement. Whether or not over time people disagree with opinions, as I've always said, right, it's really, really difficult when you've got a channel that size to please everybody. And it does allow other people. I mean, all I'm going to say on here for us, we've never had a leg up from anybody. You guys and me have created this channel, right? And yes, you look at what we do and the watch along stuff, has all come from that. There is no point in me trying to say that I've but the things I will do on here is I'm going to try to do some different stuff as well. So no one older than 8. The older ones make sweaters. Well, it is coming to that time of year. It's getting a bit, outside is cold. So the thing is, guys, is that if I do launch some merch, then where it's being made. So I'll make it at a fraction of the price, and the profit will be huge, and it will go to me. I'm kidding. What's the play button for? The play button is for my other channel. So my other channels, I think, sitting on about 350,000 subscribers. So that's for the other channel. The Lamb Before Sheep. United fan, not from Manchester, sounds familiar. Leo Heggie. No, I don't know why that's a big thing. I don't. So Leo, let me just. And again, what makes me laugh is I've been supporting this. I don't know how old you are, right? I have no idea. Right. Let's just say you're 25, right? You might be 60. You might be right, but let's just say you're 25, right? I've been supporting this club for nearly 40 years. So which means if you support this club or you don't, and you've been liking football for, I don't know, 19 years, I've been supporting football for 21 years more than you. So does that not make me a legitimate fan? So the thing that puzzles me, so Liverpool, Chelsea, City, United, if it weren't for fans like me, the match-going fans are the lifeblood of this club, and I respect match-going fans. So without them, they are the pioneers. They are the ones who go to the club. They're the ones who pay their money every single game, and it's a lot of money for a ticket. Absolutely, they are the core lifeblood of this club. But without fans like me, think about it. Without fans like me, or fans who are across the world, or fans who are in Scotland, fans who are in Essex, fans who are in Ethiopia, and that goes for City, Liverpool, pretty much any team in the Premier League. You have no Premier League. You have no money to spend on players. So I just find that statement really, really bizarre. Really, really bizarre. I've heard it 1,000 times, and it still makes me. I still find it bizarre. What's the point? So what you're saying is you should only support a club if you're in that town. But then how do you progress as a club? It's just bizarre, absolutely bizarre. Co-Logic kicking polar bears whilst making fleece jump all day, having a Chinese sweatshop under his house. Exactly, and that's exactly what the channel is called as well. Yeah, I'm going to do an expose on my. I reckon what's going to happen is I'll get like a worker who's like who what's that program called? Dispatchers, who comes in and pretends to be like a worker and then exposes me. Don't care. Michelangelo P says, Muslims say hello, mate. Mate, that's an instantaneous timeout, mate. Well, we don't do that on here. I know Wales. I lived there in a tiny place called Blackmill near Bridgend. Yeah, I know it well, mate. I'm from Swansea, so I know it quite well. Leo, if a club has just fans from its area, they wouldn't be able to make one. Exactly. What's the difference between Liverpool and a tea bag? The tea bag stays in a cup longer. What's the difference between Liverpool and a tea bag? Tea bag stays in the cup longer. I'm not saying anything on that, mate. I'm not saying anything on that because for obvious reasons. JB is a busy guy with all his. Exactly, mate. Exactly. Leo Higgy says, "Is there a United fans in Manchester?" No, they stay. No, they stay as well. But again, very, very. Welcome to the chat. I'm not going to necessarily disrespect your opinion if that's how you feel. Fantastic. I think Wrexham would probably have a problem with that statement as well, to be honest with you. But that's fine. And I still find it bizarre, but go on then, John. Name me that longest place in the world. Oh, good luck. It's Llanfairpwllgwyngyllgogeryll. I can't do it. It's Llanfairpwllgwyngyllgogeryll. I don't know, mate. Llantysilio thingy-mabob. Yeah, mate. I no chance. Leo, I'm from Manchester and I support them. It is Llanfairpwllgwyngyllgogeryll. Llangor. Oh, mate. Yeah, not a chance. Not a chance. This man is a widow. This man is a widow hunter. Yeah, maybe. Leo, fun fact, most fans in the Northwest support United. Most fans in England support United, imagine. I think trolls are coming in, at least boost. Exactly. Trolls come in, come into the chat. All I'm going to say is I'm not wet behind the ears to all this, so you can be as mean as you like. All I'm asking is do not disrespect the chat. This community is, if you're going to come into this community, I don't mind banter, don't mind the old troll in here. Just be respectful to this amazing chat. Van Dijk's defense is like Swiss cheese, full of holes, but somehow still expensive. Koulibaly. Please tell me the B stands for Barnes. You think that photo behind JB is a team photo? You're wrong. That's his in-trap workers. Well, that one there, yeah, it is. It's the Sunday league that I make and play. And again, we always play for cash. So basically, I know other sweatshops. So what we do is we've got a sweatshop league, and we pay for cash. And of course, if they lose, then of course they have to pay me back. So they've got to work extra long hours. So and then what we do as well within the window, we transfer workers as well. So you can like exchange a worker. So it's like if one worker is really good, they offer me like a high price, and and then this video is so getting banned. Got any TVR spare? Sorry, have you got any TYR spare? I haven't, I'm afraid. Size Euro 44. Haven't. What size is that? What size is that? If you tell me the size, I might give them away. Really, to be fair. That is a really cool box, by the way. Those the tiers up there, those ones there were sent to me. It was a special like secret launch. So my video on that is coming out very, very soon, and they are very, very good. And these shoes are souvenirs from the ones who tried to escape. All these 250 subs are trapped, forced to sub like every day, no light, only one spoon of water a day, one slice of bread between them, too scared to move because there's a lot. Exactly. What Emmy, what you got to realize is when you rule, you have to rule with power. You have to show no weakness at all. Nothing sends a message like a horse asleep on the floor, and no no pause. Can you hear the shouting? It's JB. JB make me a mod. Oh, you're not a mod already. I thought. Oh, you're not a mod. I need to make you a full mod. I'll do that. Notice how JB flexes new sweaters every stream. Exactly, mate. This is pure nylon. Pure. This is cheap. And if I do launch merch, all I'm saying is that it's going to be cheap. So I mean, Emmy can be a mod. Emmy, let me know if you want to be a mod, and I will make you a mod, my friend. You realize what I did there? Yes, I do. By the way, you're reading people's replies to me as I've written them. You're reading as I've written them. You've written everything. Yeah. If you could pick one United player from the past in his prime to magically put in this team, who would it be for me? I'd pick Keane. The Artful Keane. It would be Roy Keane. Really, really easy. Please don't defame Indians. You speaking nonsense. I don't know who's doing that, my friend. I'm similar age to you, JB, and unfortunately, it's coming to the time where the Glazers have owned the club for the majority of my life, and we've now been bad for longer than we've been good. That's quite sad, isn't it? That's quite sad when you put it in that. When you put it in that way, it's really sad, isn't it? It is sad, and I don't think they're going anywhere soon. So I think that you're spot on, and that saddens me. I think it's awful, and I think you make a bloody good point. JLSM says, hi, hello, dude. I'm very well, and I hope you are, dude. The chat tonight is wild. It really is. Are you talking about United Glazers? Mate, we're talking about all sorts tonight. It is going off. It is going off tonight. I'm a massive Man United fan, but I hate Glazers. Mate, the same here, my friend. Absolute same. There's videos on the channel feel free to go back and I make my feelings well known about them. JB owning, yeah, it's true, Emmy, it's absolutely true. What are you talking about this video get back will get banned? The chat has gone off on I don't know if you can read back through the chat. I'm trying to be careful about what I read on the chat. Who will get life? Why will this get a life band? And who's JB? I'm JB. The JB owns the guy from South Park who owns City Rock. Is a size 10. Yeah, they're a size 9, mate. And why you got a slave ownership? I can't, mate. I can't really tell you. It's on a need to know basis. The sound that don't sound right, is it? If you could pick one player from any team to join United, who would it be and why? I would probably pick. It'd have to be some sort of midfield player, probably Belieber, mate. I think I'd go Belieber, possibly. I'd want somebody like that, maybe Camavinga. I don't know if Camavinga's still good. A Gavi, is it? Or I want a centre midfielder. I want a centre midfielder. Yes, and unfortunately the Glazers do the best to show fear, even when exactly I agree. Hello. When did the Glazers come in? I think it was around 2003. I think it was. So they've been here for 12, 13 years. So I think it was around that time. I would pick somebody like Bellingham or Gyökeres, but it's not a joke. JB is the guy in the life, bro. Yeah. I think we can all agree here. We love, and hate the Glazers. Sir Jim Radcliffe run the club with Ineos by themselves, right? No. They're a puppet. Radcliffe is a puppet of the Glazers. The Glazers are on the board. Have no qualms about this, that Joel still is involved in this club. I have no qualms about that, my friend. Joel is still heavily involved in this. I do want the Glazers at 9 in a wide. Should be just fine. Let me take a look. Let me ask him. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. I'm a size 11. Jesus. Farplord Maguire is up there with Beckenbauer. I think, Viper Lord, I respect your opinion, but I think you may need to stop drinking tonight. I think so. I don't know about Amorim, yes, but he has the best start to life at United, but give him time. He's not like he's been at the club long. I agree with you. I think Amorim, and again, he's got a team behind him, 15th in the league. 2003, Glazer started buying. He sure did. Oh my God, no way. I've just noticed, is this the United stand, really? Is this the United stand? It's not. Sorry to burst your bubble. It's not. It's a little old me. It's not. It's not. It's just another fan channel with probably the best community. And if you think that it is, then I take that as a compliment, because this chat is so good. It's not the Stand Bro, we're better. Emmy, I love it. We are better. No, it's not. It's just our chat. Exactly. I agree. Our chat is brilliant. Has money taken over the game of football? If so, how is it impacting the sports spirit? Mate, money has been in football for, I would probably say, and add that football has been entrenched in money. Probably, you could probably argue United probably not first started it, but I'd probably say actually Serie A probably started it back in the 90s. They were signing players for 30 million. Vieri back in the day went for 30 million. Crespo, I think they started it, to be honest with you. I think Serie A started it. And then Madrid as well started the pumping money into football. And then what happened is the Premier League become the biggest league in the world, made the most money. And then when Abramovich came into Chelsea as well, then that probably started that trend as well. And then we got more and more money. So I'd probably say since the 90s, money has started to come into the game. You got to look at Madrid, when they bought R9, they bought Beckham, they started buying Figo. They started to buy all those players, so money's been in this game far beyond now, mate. And has it impacted the integrity of the game? Yes, because if you go back before that, and you look at who was winning the league and European Cups, so the likes of Villa were winning like the old Champions League. Forest won it as well. Everton were winning the league as well. You had Leeds won the league. So money has definitely kind of put a gulf between those who have money and those who don't. It's very, very difficult for those who don't have money to even survive in the Premier League, let alone win it. What a question. Lucky I'm not even been playing any games, just sat here having fun, mate. Exactly. I think kids nowadays get too much money and no hard work or cleaning. But Emmy, I think you're right. If cleaning boots is good enough for Roy Keane, if cleaning boots is good enough for Beckham, cleaning boots is, I think, what these young kids need to do. JB should know about hard working with oh wow. Oh, this is the United, mate. It is you've stumbled accidentally on the best community on it. Will win the derby because Maguire will lock up Haaland and Shesko. I think Maguire's going to find it very difficult to lock up Haaland when he's not playing. Is Diaz fit? I thought this was the United stand, as he just said at the United. Didn't say the full name, so I shouldn't. Mate, look, it is no need to apologize. I take it as a compliment to the channel and a compliment to the community. There's no need to apologize at all. Get into the chat. Let's hope Diaz is not fit. It's all good, mate. We are much better over here. We have a joke and some good fun. Haha. Chelsea have a ridiculous history of strikers. Hasselbank, Vialli, Shevchenko, Crespo, Etu. He was a striker, wasn't he? Yeah, Vialli was a striker. Zola as well. He was pretty good. Zola taught Andre Flo. What was his name? Gudjonsson. He was good as well. Who else did they have around that time? Jesus. Just trying to think who else. So Drogba as well. I mean, he was a ridiculous player, wasn't he? Cleaning Alex's boots is what Beckham knows best after the hairdryer treatment he gave him. And he threw his own boots at Beckham. He did, mate. Stones is injured. Cherky, Marmoush, Kovacic, 5-3, Martinez, John Stones. I like Yegel threat. Exactly. God. I am going to go. 2 hours streaming is absolutely fantastic. Again, guys, these shows are my favourite shows. JB, can we get into the? Oh, okay, fine. Okay, before I go, let's get into that. Before I go, let's get into Scott's conspiracy theory. My only thing about that is that you only know Shesko. Shesko, to be fair, Shesko right now would probably miss. To be fair, mate. My question is though, is that why would as a conspiracy theory, right? So why would so, but yet they found a gun in the woods. I mean, my only thing about it is why would they? Let me tell you what I've been having thoughts about. I mean, it's you don't want to get into my brain, but I wonder, right? If you think, and I need to be careful about what I say because I don't want to get banned. Is that what happened and the location of where it happened, right? I almost think, was it very similar to Trump? Was it actually meant? Was it meant to miss? Freedom of speech. True. But he was. But again, I mean, what administration? For example, are you talking about a conspiracy theory of an administration in terms of was it the Republicans allegedly? Let's just say this is an alleged thing. Are you trying to say that as a conspiracy theory, it was potentially the Republicans or the Democrats, and who are you saying is the conspiracy in terms? I get the freedom of speech thing, but what would be the purpose? It would make sense if he was sponsored by. Exactly. I mean, politics there is a very exactly, but he seemed to be very pro Trump. It is an interesting theory. I don't understand. I mean, as a commentator, I'm talking about CCTV footage of him getting off the roof without a gun, but yet they still found a gun in the woods. It doesn't make sense. Agreed. But my only comment on that is that what, for it to be conspiracy theory, or Republicans have been struggling to get people to stop talking about it, potentially, what a way to shift like the mindset of, let's take a figure and go, let's shift to this position here by doing something big. And maybe he what perfect way to almost shift optics and shift public opinion to a prominent figure that they know that people respect about, and is he used as a collateral damage? And potentially there is something in that. Are fans loyal to the club's city, or is it its players? And I think that's a good question. I think it would be a disservice to I think it's very difficult to say, because at our club, fans of the 90s, they were Beckham fans. They were, we suddenly got a load of fans based on players. So I think it's only fair to assume that a lot of City's newer fans are fans because of their success. But to counter that argument, that's how you get new fans, right? Is you get new fans by attracting fans by playing well. So this whole glory hunter thing is, I get it, But then at the same time, how do you attract new fans? Is you win on the pitch. So ultimately, do I think fans are loyal to a club? Yes, there are a significant amount of fans that are not. I think it's a mixture now. I think you have player FC. I think player FC is a more significant thing than it ever was. But I do think you're right. I do think there's a big significant amount of people that follow players out and will shift their club depending on players. And I think that's a very interesting thing to say. He had a gun in CCTV footage. Look at the angle of him jumping off the roof. Was it all except the still one on the run? They had to pin it on someone so they could assign to people. I've seen it from every angle. There is no and jumps off the roof. Kirk was a political Andrew Tate. You can see the long barrel against the side of the building. Yeah, I think it's a the interesting thing about that as well is that when he was talking to like a podcast and he was trying to justify, and I'm not saying that this is right. This is just something I think is quite an ironic thing to say, was that he was talking about gun crime and how people have the right to bear arms, and trying to justify that by people who've had their lives ended, and it's ironic that that's what's happened to him, and I wonder if he'd still be pro that if he knew what was going to happen. Not entirely sure what I just stumbled on. I stumbled on the whole Kirk thing. I have done, mate. It's not just me. He lost the gun debate in real time. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely, I've been to the States. I went to a range, and they absolutely terrified the life out of me. I mean, I was awful. I could not hit the target. Absolutely awful. Easy to be flippant with other people's lives. Exactly. It is because you never know what's going to happen to you, right? You never think it's going to be you. There's no, guys, when I read these chats, I just need to be really careful. There is a bag, I'd say, folded up and put it in the bag. Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Wow. I mean, no matter which way you spin it, right? And I watched him a couple of times. I don't always agree with the whole rhetoric that was put out there, but at the same time, all I'm going to say on it is that you can have opinions. Do people deserve that because they have opinions? It's the players who make a team legendary. So when iconic players leave, often for money, it's hard for fans to accept, as it feels like losing. But the thing is, though, mate, I'll always say this: players come and go, but the club is still there. And I do think you're right. I think that people are losing the affiliation with clubs. No, you think about it. Players are brands in their own right. So people like different brands. People like Hoka, people like Nike, people like PS5. Have all sorts of different brands. Sony, Xbox, whatever else it is, and it exactly the same as play. If everyone 100% agrees with the right, you're wrong. Exactly that, exactly, exactly that. Ferguson, agree with you. I think there were two components that made United the club that they are. Number one, Fergie, and then a certain Frenchman who came in, I think, catapulted us into a stratosphere, and I think if it wasn't for Fergie in the first place, and then Eric, coming into the club. I don't think we'd be the same club now. Knowing Amorim's tactic, Shesko back on the bench for Sunday, probably. I really hope, Daz, that Shesko starts. Score predictions, I think we'll win 2-1. I do think we'll win 2-1. I think Ahmad and Kobe should both play. I think Kobe always has a good game against them. Ahmad always seems to have a good game against them as well. So I'd like to see Manu playing in one of those positions as well. So, but guys, I'm going to go 2 hours. Absolutely fantastic show tonight. Brilliant show. Andrew's always, absolute brilliant. Brilliant show tonight. I love doing these shows. Just fantastic, guys. You guys make the community. You make this chat. I love doing this. It's just, it gets better and better. You guys are just legendary. It comes to a point where I can't read out everybody's name in here. And you know who you are. What I am going to say, didn't get a notification, to be fair, Scott, would be around Sunday for what's wrong. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's probably because it is in this format. And the reason why I do this format at the moment, because it tends to get the most views. And whilst I'm trying to grow the channel, obviously I need as many views. Me and Emmy are trying JB tonight. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, but you can't troll when it's true. Okay, you can't troll because it's true. Obviously not, but so guys, like I always say, and tonight's proved it with the conspiracy theory and the person in the chat before, that his friend passed away, and I think it is cool. And I thank you. Thank you, my friend. Get them to make me some size 9s. As I'll always say, and it definitely proves this, is that in life you cannot buy time and you cannot buy health. You do not know when your number's up. And the fact you guys come on here, you're mean to me, you berate me. No, I'm kidding. But the fact you spend time with me, spend time with each other on here, I have to say it means so much to me. It doesn't matter how long you spend on here. The trolls, what trolls on here don't understand is that it doesn't bother me whatsoever. It all adds to the chat, it all adds to this community, and I actually thank them for being here. Anyone know what XP is and what I can buy with it? You took me away from my game. Call your club a minnow. I'd like to rephrase that as an also ran. Yeah, exactly. Andrew, legend, my friend. So yeah, I agree. I call your club a minnow. I'd rephrase it as an. I would rephrase my club as a has been at present. But yeah, guys, I mean, legendary. I mean, you guys are I cannot stress this enough. This channel is nothing without you guys. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just know one day, well, fingers crossed, that it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're going to do some good stuff. So there is some good stuff. I'm going to do some members only stuff. So we're going to do some quizzes and that kind of stuff. And I think I'm going to do some members only stuff. So if you do want to get part of that, memberships are on. There is absolute no obligation at all. I'm probably the worst salesperson in the entire world. There are super chats in there are stickers, get stickers next to your name, and all that jazz. But I'm not bothered necessarily about that. So yeah, guys, have a good rest of your evening. Have a good weekend. I probably won't stream tomorrow morning, afternoon, simply because I'm doing stuff tomorrow. I'll obviously do the watch along on Sunday, so I'll put that in and get that set up. So yeah, Guys, thank you so much. I can never thank you enough. So, amazing stuff, guys. So have a good rest of your evening, morning, afternoon. Have a good weekend. Have a good Saturday. I'll probably do a show tomorrow night, maybe. I'll let you know in the community like tab thing. And if not, I'll see you guys Sunday. So, guys, amazing show. Yeah. So, guys, I'll see you very, very soon. Have a good, stay safe. I can't promise that, Scott. They've been fed already. They've been fed their evening meal, and they've just gone down. So I've put them away in their cage for tonight. They've earned their rest. They'll be up again tomorrow about 4 o'clock in the morning. Now there's a batch order that I do need to make, so they'll be doing that tomorrow. So yeah, if I'm busy, then I don't stream because they need to be kept in line. So that's how it is. So guys, wonderful show. Love it, love it, love it. I'll see you guys really soon. See you on the next one. Take care. Don't forget to pass this on to people. Tell them about the channel. Just get it. Get it. I am tired. But doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me, guys. See you very soon. See you on the next one. Take care, guys, and have a good, and take care of yourselves as well, guys. See you soon.